Hi everyone, welcome back to i-TUTOR IAS Academy History, Tamilnadu History NCERT series. Today we are discussing chapter 21, that is India under the Mughals. In last NCERT chapter, we discussed about Mughal Empire and its rulers and their order, and their achievements and the decline, cause of decline, all we discussed in last unit. Today we are discussing India, its economy, political life, and how India under the Mughals. So, India under Mughals rule, the time period already discussed in last class. Please refer that if you missed it. And the time period of Mughal rule is 1526 to 1857. It's a pivotal in history for establishing unprecedented political unity, centralized administrative system, that is Mansabdari, and immense economic prosperity that made it a global manufacturing hub. Founded by Babur, the empire created a unique synthesis of Persian, Central Asian, and Indian culture, resulting in iconic architecture like the Taj Mahal and influencing modern India's cultural identity. Okay, so my why Mughal rule is important in history because of its political consolidation, administrative innovation, cultural and architectural synthesis, economic prosperity and global trade, religious and social policy, artistic patronage, etc. And the decline of empire in 18th century, coupled with internal conflict and the rise of European powers, paved the way for British colonial, that is actually it's middle of medieval India and modern India. And from British rule, its modern history started from there. And the Mughal history paved the way for British colonial rule and making the transition a critical juncture in Indian history. Okay, so this is actually a transition phase of Indian history. Okay, so here we will discuss one by one. First of all, we will discuss about economic and social life of Mughals. And the period of Mughal period saw important social and economic developments during this period. Many European travelers and traders came to India, and their accounts contain a mine of information about the socio-economic condition of India. And generally, they describe the wealth and prosperity of India and also the luxurious life of aristocratic classes. On the other side, they also mention the poverty and suffering of the ordinary people, such as peasants and artisans. Okay, so what about Mughal nobility? The nobles of the Mughal period formed a privileged class. Most of them were foreigners, such as Turks and Afghans, and but there was tussle between them throughout this period. However, many of them settled down in India and made it their permanent home, and they readily assimilated themselves into the Indian society and culture. At the same time, they retained some of their personal traits from the time of Akbar. The Hindus, particularly the Rajputs, were included in the nobility. For example, mention may be made about Raja Mansingh, Raja Birbal, and Raja Todarmal. And later, the Maratha also joined the Mughals' service and rose to position of nobles. And the Mughal nobles were paid high salaries, but their expenses were also very high. Each noble maintained a large number of servants, horses, elephants, etc. The nobles tried follow the luxurious lifestyle of the Mughal Empire. And they wore fine cloth and ate imported fruits. Costly jewels were worn by men and women. They also made costly presents to the emperors. Okay, that's about nobles. And rural masses. While the wealthy people wore silk and cotton clothes, the poor people wore minimum clothes, and they suffered from insufficient clothing even during the winter. And Nikitin observed that the people of Deccan were barefooted. It might be due to high cost of leather, and rice, millet, and pulses were the staple food of the common people. Fish was popular on the coastal region, while ghee and oil were cheaper. Salt and sugar were more expensive, as plenty of cattle were kept by the rural people. Milk and milk products were available in plenty. That's about rural masses. Agriculture. An estimate claimed that the population of India at the beginning of the 17th century was about 125 million. Okay, it's a population range. As plenty of land was available for cultivation, agriculture was prosperous, and a large variety of crops such as wheat, rice, gram, barley, pulses were cultivated, and commercial crops such as cotton, indigo, sugarcane, and oil seeds were also cultivated. During the 17th century, two new crops, namely tobacco and maize, were added. And potato and red chilies came later in the 18th century, but no new agricultural technique use was introduced during this period. However, India was able to export food items like rice and sugar to the neighboring countries. Okay, that's about the agriculture part of view. And Next is growth of trade. Yeah, the Indian trading classes were large in number and spread throughout the country. They were well organized and highly professional, say Bohara traders specialized in a long distance trade, while local traders were called Banik. And another class of traders was known as Banjaras, who specialized in carrying bulk goods. And the Banjaras used to move to long distance with their goods on the back of oxen, and bulk goods were also taken through rivers on boats. The trading community did not belong to one caste or religion, and the Gujarati merchants include the Hindu, Jains, Muslims, and in Rajasthan, Oswal, Maheshwaris, and Agarwals came to call the Marwaris. And Multanis, Khatris, and Afghanis conducted trade with the Central Asia. And in South India, the Chettis on the Coromandel coast and Muslim merchants of Malabar were the most important trading communities. And Bengal exported sugar, rice, as well as delicate muslin and silk. Okay, and the Coromandel coast became a center of textile production, and Gujarat was an entry point of foreign goods. From there, fine textile and silk were taken to North India, and indigo and food grains were exported from North India through Gujarat. It was also the distribution center for the luxury product of Kashmir, such as shawls and carpets. The major import into India were satin metals such as tin and copper, and warehouses and luxury items such as ivory. The balance of trade was maintained by the import of gold and silver. And the growth of foreign trade had resulted in the increased import of gold and silver in the 17th century. The Dutch and English traders who came to Gujarat during the 17th century found that India traders were alert and brisk. Okay, so this is the entry of foreigners, especially Britishers and Dutch, Portuguese, like that. Okay, so that's the one of the reason for the cause of decline of Mughal history. And next is cultural development under the Mughals. And the Mughal period witnessed a significant and widespread development in cultural activity. It was manifest in sphere of art and architecture, painting, music, and literature. And in this culture development, Indian traditions were blended with the Turco-Iranian culture, which was brought into India by the Mughals. And art and architecture, the architecture of the Mughals include the magnificent forts, palaces, public building, mosque, and mausoleum. The Mughals were fond of laying gardens with the running water. Some of the Mughal gardens, such as the Nishad Bagh in Kashmir and the Shalimar Bagh at Lahore and the Pinjore Garden in the Punjab, have survived even today. During the reign of Sher Shah, the mausoleum at Sasaram in Bihar and the Purana Killa near Delhi were built. And these two monuments are considered as the architectural marvel of medieval India. So this is a picture of Purana Killa, and this is Diwan-i Khas. It's a large scale construction of building started with the advent of Akbar, and he built many forts, and the most famous one was the Agra Fort, and it was built in sandstones. Okay, and his other fort are at Lahore and Allahabad. The climax of fort building reaches its climax during the reign of Shah Jahan, and the famous Red Fort at Delhi with its Rang Mahal, Diwan-i Am, and Diwan-i Khas was his creation. So this is the Diwan-i Khas, and please Google it. You will get all pictures of Red Fort and all these things. And Akbar also built a palace come fort complex at Fatehpur Sikri. This is a city of victory. So this is a Fatehpur Sikri and 36 kilometers from Agra. Many buildings in Gujarati and Bengali style are found in this complex, and Gujarati style building were probably built for his Rajput wives. And the most magnificent building in it's the Jama Masjid, the gateway to it called the Buland Darwaza. Okay, so or the lofty gate, and the height of the gateway is once 76 feet, and it was built to commemorate Akbar's victory over Gujarat. And other important building at Fatehpur Sikri are Jodha Bai's palace and Panch Mahal with the 5 stories. So this is a Panch Mahal. There are 5 stories: one, two, three, four, five. So 5 stories are there. And during Akbar reign, the Humayun's tomb was built at Delhi, and it had a massive dome of marbles, and it may be considered the peculiar of the Taj Mahal. And Akbar's tomb at Sikandara near Agra was completed by Jahangir, and Nur Jahan built the tomb of Itima Daula at Agra. Okay, so many tombs are there in the Mughal time. These are the art and architecture of Mughal period. And it was constructed wholly of white marble with a floral design made of semi precious stone on the walls. And this type of decoration was called Pitra Dura. Okay, Pitra Dura. And this method became more popular during the reign of Shah Jahan. The Pitra Dura method was used on the large scale in the Taj Mahal by Shah Jahan. And Taj Mahal is considered a jewel of the builder's art, and it contains all the architectural forms developed by the Mughals. And the chief glory of the Taj is the massive dome and the four slender minarets. The decorations are kept to the minimum. So this is the picture of Taj Mahal, and the mosque building had reached its peak during the Shah Jahan's reign. The Moti Masjid at Agra was built entirely in white marble, and the Jama Masjid at Delhi was built in red stone. And the Mughal architectural tradition continued in the 18th and early 19th century, and their influence in the provincial kingdom is clearly visible. Many features of Mughal tradition can be seen in the Golden Temple at Amritsar. Okay, and painting and music. So this is the one of the painting of Mughal gemstone painting, and the contribution of Mughals to the art of painting was remarkable. The foundation for the Mughal painting was laid by Humayun when he was staying in Persia, and he brought with him two painters, Mir Ali and Abdul Samad, to India. These two painters became famous during Akbar's reign also, and Akbar commissioned the illustration of several literary and religious texts. He invited a large number of painters from different parts of the country to his court. Both Hindu and Muslims joined in his work, and Bazwan, Miskina, and Daswant attained great position as Akbar's court artist. An illustration of Persian version of Mahabharata and Ramayana were produced in miniature form, and many other Indian fables became the miniature paintings in the art studio established by Akbar. And historical works such as Akbar Nama also remain the main theme of Mughal paintings. The most important work is Hamza Nama, which consisted 1200 paintings, and Indian colors such as peacock blue, Indian red began to be used. And Mughal paintings reached its climax during the reign of Jahangir. He employed a number of painters like Abdul Hasan, Bishan Das, and Madhu, and Anand Manohar, Govardhan, and Ustad Manzur. And apart from the painting, the scenes of hunting, battles, as the royal court, progress was made in portrait paintings and painting of animals. Many albums containing painting and calligraphy were produced during the Mughal period. Later, the influence of European painting could be seen. And music had also developed under the Mughals, and Akbar patronized Tansen of Gwalior, and Tansen composed many ragas, and Jahangir and Shah Jahan were also fond of music. And language and literature. Uh, the Persian language became widespread in the Mughal Empire by the time of Akbar reign, and Abdul Fazl was a great scholar and historian of his period, and he set a style of prose writing, and it was followed by many generations. and many historical works were written during this period. And they include Ainai Akbari and Akbarnama, authored by Abdul Fasal. The leading poet of that period was his brother Abdul Faisi. The translation of Mahabharata into the Persian language was done under his supervision, and Udbi and Naziri were the two other leading Persian poets. Jahangir's autobiography and Tuzuk-i-Jahangiri was famous for its style, and he also patronized many scholars like Giyas Beg and Nakib Khan and Niyamatullah. Shah Jahan also patronized many writers and historians like Abdul Hamid Lahori, author of Padshah Nama, and Inayat Khan, who wrote Shah Jahan Nama. His son Dara Shikoh translated the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad into the Persian language. And many historical works were written during the reign of Aurangzeb, and famous dictionaries of the Persian language were also compiled during the Mughal period. And regional languages such as Bengali, Oriya, Rajasthani, and Gujarati had also developed during this period. And many devotional works, including Ramayana and Mahabharata, were translated into regional languages. From the time of Akbar, Hindi poets were attached to the Mughal court, and the most influential Hindi poet was Tulsidas, who wrote the Hindi version of the Ramayana, the Ramacharita Manas. Okay, so this is the about the history of Mughals. So that time, and so far we learned socio-economic life under the Mughals, social and economic life of the nobles, and also the rural masses, and agriculture and trade under the Mughal chief, export and imports, cultural development during the Mughals, and art and architecture, palaces, fort, mosque, and Mughal gardens, and development of Mughal painting and their significance, growth of language and literature we discussed so under this chapter. So this is all about actually the last chapter also about Mughal history, and this also. So this is all about Mughal history, and this is the end of the actually medieval time. Today we end here with this. So in between any doubts, you can contact us anytime, and for more videos you just do like, share and subscribe our channel. Thank you so much.